before I say what I'm going to say, let me make this clear. I actually don't mind Austin Theory. In fact, I kind of like him a little bit. He's got a great upside. He's a great villain. He's a jerkish character. And actually, I see him as a future champion. That being said, him winning the Money in the Bank this past Saturday, I don't know. It just feels so forced, in my opinion. It feels so forced. And I'll tell you why. Because even though I see him as a future champion, I don't see him as a champ right now. I don't see him as a champion at this moment. I really don't. I don't see him as a champion at this moment. Let me put it this way. Even with that Money in the Bank briefcase and knowing that he could cash it in at any time on the current champion, which is Roman Reigns, because he's both Universal and WWE World Champion. Even with that threat, does Austin Theory feel like a threat to Roman? Or let's say Roman loses it to Brock Lesnar or Drew McIntyre. Heck, if he lost it to Bobby Lashley, would Austin Theory, even with that briefcase, would he feel like a threat? I'm like this. If you're not a threat without the briefcase, I don't see where you'd be a threat with it. For example, RVD, when he won it, Rob Van Dam, when he won his Money in the Bank, he was a threat without it. But with it, he was a double threat. I can think of other past Money in the Bank winners. Let's go to the women. Bayley, for example. Bayley was a threat to then champion Charlotte Flair without the Money in the Bank briefcase. She was a threat without it because she had already beaten Charlotte in the past without that. So with it, oh my goodness, you have this added dimension, this added threat. Whereas, say, when Nikki Ash won it last year, which, by the way, that's when Liv Morgan, and still, congratulations to her, but to be honest, that's when she should have won it. When Nikki Ash won it last year, did she really feel like a threat to Charlotte Flair without that briefcase? No. I did not feel no threat. Now, if she was Nikki Cross, that might be a little different story. Especially Nikki Cross from NXT. But Nikki Ash didn't feel like a threat without the briefcase. And that's what I'm getting at with Austin Theory. Right now, he does not feel like a threat to Roman Reigns. Or if any of the other guys I named won the title. Basically, even with that Money in the Bank briefcase, I could see him cashing in and failing. I mean, basically, Roman Reigns would have to be dead. I'm being for real. The only ways I could see him beating him for the title is if Andre the Giant came back from the grave, got in the ring, choked Roman Reigns or Brock or Drew or even Lashley down Hulk Hogan style, choked him till he was unconscious, left him laying in the ring. Austin Theory cashes in, covers it 1, 2, 3. That or Austin Theory comes down with a double-barreled shotgun, shoots him dead in the chest, then cashes in, and then gets the pin and becomes the champion. Those are the only ways I see him get the title. Because even with that briefcase, I don't feel a threat here. I really don't. Not at this point. Not at this point. Or he pulls a Mick Foley and goes get a forklift, somehow gets one of them down and puts the forklift and whatever on top of it to squash them down to where they can't get up. That's really the only ways I see him getting the pin on them. Because, I mean, honestly, I don't care if Roman Reigns gets F5'd by Brock 10 times, takes 5 Claymore kicks from Drew McIntyre, gets the Dominator 5 times from Roman Reigns and then get shocked in the balls by the Goldberg stun gun, a la the ghost of Scott Hall, he still wouldn't get beat by Austin Theory at this point. I'm sorry. I just don't feel a threat. Well, what do you guys think on this? I mean, I actually don't hate Austin Theory. I don't. I see him as a future champion. Just not at this point. Even with Money in the Bank and that threat of cashing in at any time. I mean, this isn't like Liv Morgan, who honestly I was stunned that they let her beat Ronda Rousey. However, at least with Liv Morgan, she had that underdog feel. You wanted to pull for her. Plus, she had fought so hard, came close several times and failed to win the championship. So you was actually happy for her. You know, a la, say, I know nobody likes mentioning his name, but a la Chris Benoit back in the early 2000s, when he would try and fail against several WWE champions, particularly Stone Cold Steve Austin and I almost said Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, particularly those two. And I think he even tried and failed once against Brock. You were genuinely happy. And you felt like it was earned. That's the way I felt with Liv Morgan. Yeah, it was a surprise, but it felt like it was earned. Whereas with Theory, you feel like it was almost handed to him. It felt almost handed. I mean, that's how ridiculous that title change was. But anyway, what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comments section. I'm out.